good morning, and welcome to the channel. This is Miss Mo Unleashed. If you are coming back again, thank you so much. And if you're coming for the first time, welcome. My name is Miss Mo, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like also and share. Also tell your friends to tell their friends that Ms. Mo is here. Never mind, let's get started. Guys, it is so cold. All right, so there was something in my spirit this morning when I woke up. In fact, just before I went to sleep last night. And then when I woke up this morning, it is still bugging me. And for the life of me, I didn't know how to sort of approach this, address it, talk about it. It was heavy. It was so heavy. Yeah, guys, yes, I'm defeated. I'm very defeated. Let me share a quick story with you of how I got my job. I've been working at my recent job for the past 15 years or so. Okay, maybe in a couple of months, in 4 months' time, it will actually be 15 years. And in the 15 years, no, in fact, let me tell you how I got it. So there was an advert for just one position, right? I applied, and well, they shortlisted 21 people for just one post. Let me tell you, I was one of the 21 people, right? We were called for interview. We went to Bloemfontein for an interview. As we get there, it was about, we were told to be there at around 8 o'clock in the morning. And obviously, me coming from, Sasselberg and stuff, obviously, it will be around 3 hours to get there. If you driving the way you're supposed to drive, it will be 3 hours. Most people do take 2.5. Others take 2 or 1.5. But yeah. So we got there, right? So that will tell you that we left so early in the morning. It was around Puma 5 o'clock when we left here. And so we went there, we got our interview. And let me tell you, I was number 20th to be interviewed. And this tells you that I was interviewed later, right? Because you get to interviews, they don't start immediately. So you sit there while waiting. And because also they had to come fetch us, and we would travel to another place where they are interviewing us. So that also kind of like wasted time. Okay. Um, so basically, I was interviewed around past 6 in the evening, later that in the afternoon. Guys, let me tell you, getting that call that tells you to come back and sign your appointment letter, that is everything. That was everything for me to this day. I did not take that for granted. To this day, I still remember that there were people, 20 people before me. In fact, it was 19 people before me that got interviewed, right? And one after me. But basically, it was 20 people with me who was competing for just one position. And I got employed. And no, Nunus, I did not pay any Jojo. I got employed on merits, on personality counts, on, everything. Maybe the level of anointing that I have. You know, God's favorite child. I'll never forget that. To this day, I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for life, man. I will never take this for granted, because I know that 20 other people, they were competent as well. They were compatible. There's people who qualified to be where I am today. and I was the one that was chosen. I was the chosen one. I was employed. And of course, with the high rate of unemployment in South Africa, you got to be very, very appreciative of the job you have. You just have to be grateful because you are now able to do things that no other person who is unemployed can do. You are able to achieve more than that person who's unemployed right now, you know? And you can understand there's people who went to school, obtained degrees and bachelors, and those people to this day, they're still at home. They don't have the work. And you got that opportunity. You need to be appreciative of it. Guys, here's what defeats me. Every day, right, I go to work and I'm this very bubbly person. Bubbly person. Bubbly person. I don't mean that I don't go through problems, life problems, like any other person. I do. I get tired, I get exhausted, and sometimes I don't want to see people. But my job, my work requires me to work with people every single day. And I think that has kept me, that's the reason, that I'm the person that I am every time I go to work, right? Very happy soul. And then I've got this signature, I've got this signature greeting that I do when everybody comes in. Not just everyone, but okay, maybe when my colleagues comes in, I will always be like, "Hi, Mzee," or "Hi, Louis." You know, I would always just, I would greet my people happily so, right? I'm that person. And I'm sure there's so many people like that where you get to their jobs and they're very happy, and I think what would defeat you is getting somebody whom you are hi, or you are like hi, you're happy, like loudly greeting them. You're like in a very good spirit and stuff. And then at the workplaces you'll get those people that are, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Those people that when I do the expression, it's the expression of somebody who's always angry, who's so bored with their lives, who is ready to kill. Looks like they want to attack you. Looks like they're not happy with you. Just it looks like your whole being just your whole being annoys them. You do have people like that at work, and that's what I wanted to talk about. My question is, why would you go to work to make your life miserable? Guys, we spend about 8 hours at work, right? We spend about 5 days a week seeing each other. 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, sometimes even more. And we talk about 365 days a year. Right, do the calculation, minus the Saturdays and Sundays that don't go to work, or if you do go to work, edit, keep it like that. But you understand what I mean? I'm saying now the whole year, the whole week, the whole month, 8 hours a day, you see this person, you see these people. And let me tell you, it's hectic. Why would you want to put yourself in that kind of a space? Our day at work begins at 7:30, right? So you would go to work. Obviously, if you live far from work, you have to drive out early from your house to work. And then we're driving from, say, quarter to 7 to get to work. You get to work, your day begins at 7:30. Now with me, I would not be feeling okay. And I've got this colleague that I love so much. I've worked with her for 15 years. And I would, obviously you say, we would first start with coffee and we would start talking. And I would say, hey, this made me sick, this. And then I'm okay. And our day begins, we're working, we're on this place. Things are going, they're moving like that. Right? and and then obviously after work you go home, right? At the end of your work day, you chila and you go home. But before you go home, there are other things that you do, right? Like you would run your errands in town or at the shops. You would get bread, you would get milk or whatever you need for the next day or later what you're gonna cook, you know. And you still have to go fetch kids from school. You have to be here, you have to be there, and finally you drive home. That time is around past 6 past 7, and in my case we have animals that we have to feed every single day, so it's passed by there, and then we come home, right? So you come home, when you get home it's around like what, past 6 past 7 or 7, let's just 7, right? You get to work at 7, you get home at 7 o'clock. Now your work at home, your day at home begins, right? You start cooking. You start tidying up a little where you guys left dishes from the breakfast or whatever. And while you are busy cooking, you're helping out with homeworks. The kids needs to bath. You need to do so many things. And then you have to dish up. And then after dishing up is dishes. And then you have to go tuck in kids in bed. And finally, you switch off the lights, and that's when your night begins. And let me tell you, for married people like myself, your night really begins after you switch the lights off. Okay, you don't even have to switch the lights off. Whatever, whatever. Okay, I'm not there. I'm just saying you understand what I mean, right? Ah. And then you go to sleep around past 10. What, with me, I have never had a sleep before 10. I've never managed to go to bed before 10 unless I'm sick, I'm not feeling well, there's something wrong with me. Obviously, my kids will take care of cooking, and hubby will help out, and I will go to bed early, and I'm spoiled like that, and I'm giving food and everything, you know. But any normal day, I would go around half past 10 to bed. It doesn't mean I'm really like completely, I'm gonna die when I get there. No. Sometimes it's even 11 or even 12. It happens. It happens. Like there's never enough time in a day, okay? Not enough hours in a day. So basically that is your day, and if you can calculate from getting home at 7 o'clock to sleeping at around 11, you've spent about 4 hours with your people, right? So that does not even amount to the kind of hours that you spend at work with your colleagues, right? So how do you go to work and make your life miserable? Balance me, guys. It is obviously we all go through life problems, like I said. Obviously, when I get to work, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I don't even want to see people. But I have learned to create heaven for myself at work. Guys, we need to normalize talking about colleagues that just mm-mm. It defeats me. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. I'm talking generally for people. You would get bosses at work, right? Or people in high position, people in power, right? And who were just born, or who are just adamant to make your life a living hell at work because you're under them, you're beneath them, and they would literally come to work and make you feel inferior, belittle you in front of other colleagues and stuff. It is, it's what they do. High people in high positions, or people, you would feel that's what they do, right? And You don't understand. You will be having a meeting, and you'll be one to who is expected to get seats for everyone, or get what we need a book, we need a stuff like that. You understand? That's frustrating. You would be having a gathering or something, you run around, although there is somebody who's hired to do that, but and it's not even your job description, but you will be expected to do it, that's frustrating. you know the level of abuse, you can categorize it as much as you want. There's levels with these abuse, and it's hell. It's hectic, man. It's unnecessary. I'll always say it's unnecessary. For me, I find it very unnecessary, right? And but then again, you do get great bosses like my boss. You do get great bosses who are very open. They want you to work. They will tell you to work, and you understand this day he really is not playing. And when he's also friendly, and he's, oh my god, also friendly, is really friendly, and you understand, oh, this day we can relax a little bit, but it's not in a bad way. So you do get bosses like that. You do get great bosses, but then you also get bosses that are the no-go area. They are so unapproachable. They are so, you can't address issues. You can't raise concerns because they take an offense in that. We do get that. And of course, it's hectic for everyone. I get that. Now, here's a thing I want to talk about: colleagues. Colleagues that are bitter, that are so jealous, that are so destructive and spiteful, and constantly dirtifying the aura of the atmosphere with their aura. You do get people like that at job, and I know you understand what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm talking about, and generally, guys, we need to normalize asking this question: why would you come to work to make your life a living hell? Why would you come to work to make your life miserable? Because sometimes the people you even trying to spite, habada, habada, and you are also moody, and you are you are like that, and habada. Personalities are different, right? We have different personalities, and you will meet every kind of personality when you work with people, different personalities, and you have to know how to solve people, and you have to know, this is how I treat you. He likes to be treated like this. It's a whole type of job that, apart from your job at work, it's a whole work to know who's who and how to. You understand? And why personalities will always clash in most cases is because, one, we are not the same people. Secondly, secondly, we are not born from the same mother. And even if we were born from the same family, by the same parents, we would still not behave the same. Everybody has their own personalities. And guys, it also goes back to how you are raised. You understand? There's only so much that our parents can do. They can obviously teach us what's right and what's wrong. They are there to teach us what to do and what not to do, what works and what doesn't work, and how to compose yourself, to be better person, to be better human beings, better partner, better wife, better mother, better colleague, better friend, better sister, better sibling, better child. And how you interpret what they teach you, it's up to you. They can only be responsible for what they say and not what you hear, and what you take what they have taught you um, further in life for the rest of your life, it's also up to you. You understand what I mean? And so we come back and we meet different. Let me tell you, it's more like, when you've ever been to an event or a function and you are smart, you smell nice, you nice, man, wababa. And you get to a place, and when you get there, we always know the gender that does this, right? I'm not even gonna dwell on that, but there's always a group that will look at you like, and it's like in your mind you're hearing the roars study lion, like, oh, it's on now. It's like, or more like a kid. Ow. You know, you can already sense that the level of animosity in this room. You can feel the atmosphere changing, and not because you come with a bad vibe, but because people don't know you, and like ma- personalities are just not communicating, and that's okay. But sometimes you find you sit with that person 2 hours later, and you're like, she's cool, people, she's all right. We could hang, it always happens. And difference with that at work is that this is not a one day kind of thing where you go to an event one day and all this happens, where you're meeting somebody that does not like you, they don't know why, but 2 hours later they get to understand, no, she's actually a cool person, I don't know what happened. Or maybe you even leave before they could even talk to you, and they still don't understand who you are, but they still hated you from the moment you came. And I will tell you something about that just now. See, the difference at work, you have to be with this person, remember this, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and sometimes five, a whole year, 365 days. You're with this person, dealing with jealousy, dealing with animosity, dealing with matter why. Why? Why? And let me tell you something. Also, you have to remember, there is no way that you're expected in this world to play small to make another person feel comfortable. You can accommodate people based on their fears, based on their issues, but jealousy, animosity, kwali, you cannot accommodate people for that. You cannot sit down and play small to make that person feel better about themselves. You must remember, if my personality is bigger, I've got a stronger and a bigger personality, and I walk into the room and you're not okay with that, it is not that gap up. It is just that my personality is bigger and is stronger, and you are threatened by it. So you see, sometimes you need to deal with what's happening with you. Sometimes we need to normalize sitting down and analyzing ourselves, our feelings. All right. I had a friend that always said it was a gene in every woman that, somebody walks in and already we are, especially if that person looks beautiful and they're more smarter than us. And and he will also say it's always the ugly ones that has a problem. But let me tell you, I never see women as ugly. We are all beautiful. Women are beautiful. We're different, but beautiful. I'm just saying what he would say. He would say, okay. So we need to normalize, we need to normalize having positive mantras before we leave the house. Okay, I've got one. I remind myself I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful. Nobody will take away from my day. Even when I'm driving with my kids, I always tell them if anybody tries to ruin your day, what do you say to them? And my kids will always say, "Not now, Satan." You know, it's me. It's part of the things that I instill in my kids that you don't let your day cannot be ruined by somebody's bad aura, bad vibe, bad moods. It can't. It can't. We cannot allow that, good people. We just can't allow that. Now, we need to normalize having positive mantras before we leave the house. Okay? Something that represents you, something that, speaks to your whole day, your whole being. You're able to stick with it. But if you're gonna leave your house and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to see Mavis and I don't want to see. That's how your day is gonna be. You've got a problem with Mavis, but Mavis does not have a problem with you. Huh? Huh? Mavis does not have a problem with you. You have problem with yourself. Let's normalize having work problems at work. Let's normalize fighting over work, arguing over work. You didn't, you understand what I mean? Let's normalize doing that and let's leave it at that. It is not personal, it's just business. All right? And then if it's personal, you need to sit down and find out why. But what you cannot do is make your life miserable for yourself at work. Zwan, guys. Zwan. Let's understand each other's personalities. There will always be a personality that is stronger than yours. There will always be a personality that is more powerful than yours. There will always be a personality that is bigger than yours. Somebody who's more beautiful than you, somebody who's more smarter than you, somebody who's more sexier than you, somebody who dresses better than you, somebody who smells nicer than you. It's always the case. These are the things in our age we need to have already. These things must be somewhere stored at the back of our mind. Subconsciously, we must just be alert of such. Be aware. But what you cannot do is go to work and make your life miserable because you don't like people. You don't like being given orders at work. You don't like being instructed at work. I think one of the things my dad taught me while I was still young, oh my God, may his soul rest in power. It was that if you get a boss, right? I used to have a boss who was like 2 years older than me, right? And I still called him Ndate. It was my level of respect. And it's not just that. It was also drawing the line and making sure that no lines are crossed, no boundaries are crossed, right? This is your boss, regardless of whether this person is your age or is your cousin or whatever. At work, know your place, know your position. Be humbled. Be humbled. And so I called all my bosses Ndate Mama. So it will, even if my boss now he's older than me, but if I were to get somebody my age or younger than me, but because he's my boss or he's my manager or in leadership, I'll always refer to them as Ndate Mama. Right? Guys, there is no situation that is so vile and poisonous like a situation where you are trying to compete with leadership. It even comes from the Bible. You need to respect leadership. And we are not saying now, allow anything to happen. No, we are saying if a person is good to you, be good to them. In a sense that all you have to do is go to work, work, and come back and go home. All right? Let's normalize having these kind of conversations. Guys, let's teach each other. Let's be teachable as well. I mean, as a colleague, there might be a lot of things that I do wrong that I would get it if somebody were to come to me and say, but you did this. Why would you do this? You know? And, but also you must remember, there are situations where they don't even need any kind of confrontation. Sometimes you just need to, for the sake of production, let things go on and be fine. You know? Normalize waking up in the morning and creating a safe haven for you at work. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And people will obviously make faults from time to time. That's okay. We're not judging. We're not judging. We're only just human. A workplace is where you go and earn a living for your kids. As a black child, we all know black tax. We know what it means. It's not just you on that salary. It's your immediate family, your kids, your spouse, your partner, you know? Doesn't matter. Somebody depends on that salary. And then there is extended family. Your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your aunt, your cousin. We are constantly helping out. Be grateful of the job that you have. Stop being comfortable. Stop being comfortable. Somebody else is crying for that very same job. It might not be high paying. It might not be making you get to the levels that you want to get, or it might not be enough to sustain your lifestyle, whatever lifestyle that you have. But it is something to begin something. And this is why, of course, people will tell you that you don't need to have just one income and stuff. You need to have multiple incomes. Yeah, well, that's using your brain. But when are you going to use this brain while you're still busy using all the effort and energy and what's left of this brain? Spiting people, being spiteful at work, hating people, being jealous of people, talking people, plotting people. You, hi Nina, guys. No, we need to stop, really. We need to stop. We need to stop. I think we need to normalize sitting down and assessing ourselves. What problem do I have with these people? At work, you cannot expect it to be loved by everyone. At work, you cannot be expected to be appreciated or received well by everyone. But at work, we expect you to be decent and civil towards each other. You don't get there and you don't get to say, I see you don't like me, you've been pretending the whole time. Or I see you don't get to sit down and say those things. Come to work. Be pleasant. Do your work and go home. And go home. That's basically what I do. I would be offended by so many things, but I would never try to make it hell for people. I would choose maturity over arguments and stuff. And I would find out I was not at work and you were talking about me, and you would come in, I would say, hi. I would come back and you're my friend. I heard that you were talking about me. Well, I don't take that from friends, no. I don't even have a lot of friends, but I don't take it from friends. But colleagues, I can take it. I can take you talking about me. I can take you saying things about me. Uh, in the absence of my presence, I understand. I understand. We are all there to work. We are all there to make a living for our kids, to earn a living for our kids. We're all there, to make cheddar, baby, and put cheese on the table. Other reason than that, then you definitely at the wrong place. Guys, I know that a whole lot of people are going through this. Just a quick one. There was one I watched on TikTok where this girl, literally her eyes were red. And looks like she's been crying in the car. And she says, I don't know, but I needed to post this. and I think her boss or somebody at a high position just did something to her or embarrassed her or something. And she just came to her car and she was crying and she was crying and she says, now I have to go back and face 8 hours with this person pretending that I'm okay. Let's not do that to people. Let's not do that to people. As bosses, as people who are high in position, as people of power, or who hold a certain power, or as even colleagues, normalize being present. You know, when you come to work, say hello, hi, and that's it. That's fine. You don't have to like me, you don't have to buy me a Lamborghini. No. Normalize being a pleasant human being in general. A pleasant human being in general. And you don't know. By analyzing yourself, you're going to learn something about yourself in the midst of learning how to deal with yourself and how to deal for yourself. For me, colleagues will not, I cannot be broken by colleagues. Yes, I work with wonderful colleagues. I do. I work with good people, and if they're not good people, I think they've got the potential to be good people. You know, I've worked. There's so many of us at our workplace, and I'm not talking about our office only, but generally the whole building. You know, and I think throughout my whole entire working ship, I've tried to be a very pleasant person. And sometimes we need to learn to be very pleasant human beings. Guys, I think take that from everything I said. Learn to be a pleasant human being. Sometimes we also have to you also have to understand there are things that people go through when they come to work. That's why you need to be very sensitive and you need to be very accommodative. And if you can't move away. It's fine. Sometimes a person deals with a whole lot. It could be a cheating boyfriend. It could be an annoying or abusive husband. It could be stressful child that keeps doing things that you don't appreciate, or it could be stressful or petty family members. It could be anything. When people come to work, you need not be so vile and obnoxious and very all the time, because people are dealing with a lot before they get to your place. By creating a safe haven for you at a workplace, you are creating a safe haven for everyone at the workplace. So if everybody can learn the art of creating a safe haven for themselves at work, then how harmoniously will we work? Everyone. It will be like a well-oiled machine, you know. People will know their places and they will know their positions and they will know when to talk and when not to talk. And we will all be pleasant human beings. Let's normalize being pleasant human beings. It's so cold right now. Thank you so much for staying with me for my story time in the morning while I was having soup. It was not tea, it was soup in here actually. My daughter made it for me in this cup. Just remember that if you come across this video, just like, share, subscribe, and leave your comment on the comment section. Yeah, tell your friends to share as well. Invite them, man. I'm hoping that we can grow viewship and we could have more constructive and powerful story times. And of course, we can learn from each other, you know. And remember that Obviously, we'll be learning from divas that comes here and stuff. Just remember, you can also find me on Facebook. It is Mavis Mutaung, and you can find me also on Instagram. It's Miss Mo101. Let's meet here again, man, for another story time with Miss Mo and Miss Mo Unleashed. I love you guys.